The Trust for Public Land recently entered into a contract for the design and construction document development phase for the Island View project. TPL is currently working on a draft and final version of a professional services agreement to be executed with the county. However, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on a temporary easement to allow for early site work related access is needed at this time. Attorney Schuler has reviewed the easement agreement and recommends board approval. I put a copy on your packet. I need board action to approve this.
Let's move.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Ms. Kathy Ballantyne, the Transportation Director of Gulf County Transportation, has submitted an application for a grant that would pay for the purchase and installation of mobile surveillance camera systems for our 5 Franklin County vehicles. To qualify for the grant, a resolution or motion from the board agreeing to contract with FDOT for the equipment. Let's say that right. The county will pay for the equipment and installation upfront, which is roughly $12,000, and then will be reimbursed from FDOT. I've discussed this matter with the finance office, and they stated this is normal and have no problem with it. The same system has been installed in Gulf County vehicles. I put a copy of the grant application in your packet, and I need board action. Basically, this will record everything that's going on in the vans. That protects the driver, the person on the bus, and the county as for the transportation services. I think it's a good thing, Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Question.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
How long they got, how much more time they get, Gulf County got on that contract?
If I'm not mistaken, the contract runs until the end of the calendar year or the fiscal year. I'll have to double check, sir.
Okay.
Because they'll send out RFPs for the transportation services. The local company that had it before, and I double checked, they can bid again if they want to for the contract.
I hope they do, because I hate to see another county coming in and do work like that.
Yeah. But we are thankful.
Somebody got to do it.
Yes, sir. We are thankful that Gulf County did step in and help us out rather than having no transportation at all
Yeah.
within the county. But I'll find out when those RFPs are going to be.
They keeping, but they did keep some of the local drivers,
Yeah.
some of them, I don't know.
So I'll find out for you, so when the RFPs will be advertised, okay?
All right.
Okay, item 5, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on a notice of limitation of use for the Fruman Park project. Mr. Currington stated that the board has signed this agreement on other FERDAP grants in the past, and it is needed to close out the Fruman Park project. Basically, it just tells us, what we can use the property for.
Yeah, I mean, it says limited use, that somehow it's restricting us, but basically we're agreeing to use it as a public park for 25 years, which is what it is.
Well, we got the funding for, yes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On this subject, Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't we get $50,000 for D.W. Wilson for soccer,
Yes.
for the soccer fields out there? I mean,
Well,
I
it
just-
was approved. I think it'll be part of the budget for July 1.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. It's usually July 1.
Yes.
But I thought,
So we'll be working on that soon.
Yeah, remember Bruin was done last,
Yeah.
last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we
So-
said we supported that to the FERDAP, and that's, that's the reason why they waited.
So probably this time next
That'll
year,
be good.
we will be doing the same
That'd
thing
be good.
for this kind of agreement for D.W. Wilson. Item 6, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on an auction services contract. This company, and I keep saying this company, and let me call them who they are, is Bedilla? Is how you pronounce it, Mr. Schuler, when you reviewed it?
Right, it was Global Auction Services, and they changed
They
it to
changed
a
the
new
Padilla,
corporate
yes.
name. They're restructuring themselves.
This company will create an inventory list of all our old damaged equipment we don't use anymore. And this includes county and the constitutional officers if they want to partake in it. They'll create a online marketplace. Well, first they will take that list, and I'm kind of paraphrasing it. They'll take that list, submit it to the finance office who keeps track of inventory, and they'll create an online marketplace, similar to eBay, and manage the auction. The buyer will pay all fees, and this agreement is non-exclusive. Attorney Schuler has reviewed it and sent it to you guys for approval. And basically, this takes a load off of the finance office from doing the inventory, because they will have a completed list of everything we auction off, which in some things we have to turn over to the state for records keeping, some of it, not all of it. But we can get money back for a lot of our old desk furniture, old computers we have sitting there that might be useful to somebody else, but not us because of the software
So moved.
that's required.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Where,
carries.
where do the proceeds from this auction go to? Back to the general fund?
Yes.
Okay.
If I could look at the clerk and just say yes, yes, ma'am, yes. Yes, just want to verify before I answer it. So, again, instead of it all just sitting in scattered areas throughout the courthouse, it'll be in one spot and we get some money from it. And
Well,
the
Actually, the road department equipment, money goes back to road department. So like the big heavy equipment that we buy.
Yeah, but that,
auction,
that's,
goes back
are
to
they,
road
is
department.
that gonna be included on this online?
Well, no, this, I just
Not-
give you
not
an
this
example.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but that helps
Yeah.
offset their operation costs and actually helps
Yeah.
to buy pieces of equipment they're replacing.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but
But-
computers and all this stuff, smaller items would go back to the general fund.
Yes, but this company sort of like, let's take one of the vehicles we have out there, probably will go in auction, they'll come right back into general fund if we, they will auction our vehicles for us too. So, that's a good thing, very good thing. Item 7, at the last meeting, I informed the board that Mr. Currington met with FDOT regarding their 5-year plan. FDOT asked that the board provide a wish list of future projects in order of priority by the first week in August. Commissioner Lockley asked if any of the could be located within the city of Appalachia or Carabel. Mr. Currington didn't see a problem with the projects being in any of the cities, but he reminds you that this is a wish list and doesn't require any engineering or cost estimates at this time, but reminded me that the board would have to agree to the list of projects in order of priority. I will add this item to my July 19th report so we can discuss it again. Remember though, this is DOT, and so we're talking about state roads.
Yeah, well, real quick, and I won't take long because we're running out of time, but I'd like to see 98 repaved from 12th Street where they stopped this year out to Tilton Road where they stopped. If you remember several years ago, I brought this up to DOT in a meeting about the contractor, the hydroplane and all that stuff. That road needs to be fixed right there. And, you know, they've repaved everything from the county line to Tilton Road. They've done from the bridge to the red light here in Appalachia, down by the school. But there's an area between those two recent paving jobs that needs to be completed. And we have the whole area right here, up to date, because there's some ponding places in that road on this side, on the west, or east side of Tilton Road right there is really bad.
Yep.
And I'd just like to throw that out there, but we'll deal with it on the 19th.
Okay.
I mean, as you stated, Commissioner Lockley was asking, could it be something be done in the city of Appalachia or the city of Carabel? And it can, but when you're talking about FDOT, it's 98 that runs through both of these municipalities. So, you know, there may be something in Carabel that needs to be done to 98 there, and we need to put it on the 5-year wish list, I guess you'd say.
I got a good
Maybe
wish
you
list.
get it
We
in 10
started.
years. Maybe you get it in 10 years and put it on a 5-year wish list, you know.
I get it on, I got a good wish list.
Also 98 between East Point and Carroll, that's something that's been a.
That's another
We
one.
keep
Said that-
doing that, but they don't never do nothing about it.
Yeah.
They said it's not enough running in the ride, so, you know, I'm saying, you get in here, and especially if it's raining, you got a problem. And I tell you, what's bad is the out-of-town folks, the tourists that's coming through here don't realize it. And when they come around that curve, especially in Bow, oh my goodness, and they put on brakes, and then you got 10 or 15 cars behind you, it's like, ooh, a major accident fixing to happen.
And then if Alan was fishing and his car's parked on the side of the road, you don't have anywhere to pull. I'm
You
just
see him
teasing.
shaking his head over there, he was shaking his head when I said that.
I'm just teasing. Okay, item 8, the county received a notice from FDOT that any political signs placed on the state right-of-way will be removed by FDOT. The right-of-way includes the roadway surface, concrete or grassy median, intersections, entrance and exit ramps, and a strip of land usually bordering on either side of the road. That's for information purposes only, Commissioners. Just want to let you guys know, anybody comes up and starts to fuss about that. Item 9, the county has received yet another proposed aquaculture lease modification from the Division of Aquaculture from the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, which we know as DACS. Another existing leaseholder in Alligator Harbor is asking to get their lease modified to use the whole water column. The board has sent numerous letters stating the county's concern for the conflict of other people wanting to use the water surrounding the leases. Despite our statement of concerns, DAX has approved the modifications anyway. A copy of the modifications attached. If you look down on it to the very bottom, what does the status say? Approved. Basically, recommended approval. So, just let you guys know, but you have that lease in front of you.
I wouldn't even respond to them. We've written letters before. We were concerned about the full water column usage,
Yeah.
you know.
So they sent you
This was my concern back in 2001 when we asked for the Alligator Harbor, you know, area. And this was my concern back then, was the full use of the water column. So, you know, and they used it on, you know, where they could plant the clams now. And like I said, I know it's a ever-changing world and things changes and stuff, but I'm just concerned. But they're saying the area, and this is their argument the whole time, wasn't no need to do it. The area that they use, you know, is only used basically by those people that have the clam operations.
Surprisingly, the oysters that they're producing out there are making the marketplace now, because I went to a restaurant in Apalachicola, and you can buy Alligator Harbor oysters.
Mhm. They're growing them. They're really growing good out there, the salinity. And at the same time, I'm gonna keep up the battle that we've always had with them. Maybe there's an area outside Carabel River out there that they have found, John Gunner did many years ago, to have the same salinity value as what that down at Alligator Harbor was. And this is a good, you know, opposed to wild catch and that. It's a good offset to try to help some of our people, for sure.
Item 10, board action to reappoint Mr. Ted Mostello to another 3-year term on the Gulf Coast Board. His current term expires on July 1st, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Final item, remind the board that there's a 1:30 p.m. workshop this afternoon to discuss inmate medical options with the Sheriff's Department and the management of Weems with Mr. Mark O'Brien, the CEO of Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. Mr. O'Brien has asked that the board allow him to make his presentation at 1:30, which would allow him the opportunity to attend another meeting later on this afternoon.
Does anyone know what Mr. O'Brien intends to present?
We will in just a little
I
while.
do not, there was nothing sent to me, Commissioner, so I do not. I know
He said
that's
a
fair.
word.
Nobody.
Ain't nobody, he said a
Okay.
word, we'll
Nobody's
find
coming.
out.
That's unusual.
You get you a good lunch and your fighting gloves on.
I had a couple items I did not put on my report that, just quickly, speaking of Weems, they switched their board of directors meeting to this upcoming Thursday rather than the last Thursday in the month that they usually do. And I will attend on Thursday. And
What time
area
that meeting?
agency for the aging, I'm sorry, Commissioner,
What time that meeting start at,
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, yes, sir. I'll remind you on Wednesday evening. An area agency on aging will be here at the next meeting to discuss their lead agency and their RFP, so that it'll be in time for the budget workshops that will be held at the following meeting, July 19th. You'll be aware of what their plan is. So Ms. Lisa Bretz will be here the next meeting, okay? And that's all I have for y'all today.
Thank you.
I got something for
You got
Michael.
something, Michael?
Yes, sir, if you don't mind. Did we do the resolution for the net?
Oh,
Net,
I just need the chairman to sign. We approved it at the last meeting. Yes, I have a
Okay.
copy for him to sign.
Okay. Are you gonna send that copy to Commissioner Ralph Thomas
Yes.
in Wakulla
Mhm.
before tomorrow's meeting?
I'll do this afternoon.
Okay.
Scan it and sign it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'll
And-
mail the original if he wants me.
Have you got the times for the FWC meeting for tomorrow?
That, I sent Steve Shea a request for the agenda.
And
hasn't
we
sent
still
it yet.
haven't received, I just looked.
I'll call him again and try and get it.
So I'm assuming it starts about 8:30, because they,
8 o'clock is set the thing.
yeah.
And the chairman, you're not there tomorrow morning, you're there Thursday morning for them to.
Yeah, Thursday morning.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, hey, Michael, outside of east of Carabel around Highland View, there's 4 trees right on the side of the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And see if you can contact VMS or whoever to get rid of them, because they're fixing to fall. They right on the edge of the road.
Okay.
I've called them about those same
They're
trees.
fixing to fall. When the top fell out on one of them last night.
I've-
It's gonna fall on somebody's car or kill somebody,
Just like it did
car
out
or
there.
kid or something like they did that boy and his daddy outside of Carabel.
Okay, I'll call John at Transfer.
Okay.
That's it, Commissioners? Okay.
Mr. Schuler, you have anything?
No, sir, I have no report or action items for the board this morning.
Have any commissioners' comments?
I was trying to find.
I can give a report. Mark Carrington and I met with the Division Director of Historic Resources requesting that our grant match be decreased from 50% to 10%. And he seemed positive. He's supposed to let us know something this week on that Armory grant that we got.
Any public comments? Yes, sir. Hold on. Got one here, then you. Come on.
Mr. Ted.
Mr.
come on.
Ted.
Ted Ruff.
Mr.
Good
Ted.
morning, Commissioners. My name is Ted Ruffner. I live in East Point at Gramercy Plantation. Last year, on June the 15th, over a year ago, I came before the board to ask you to look into resolving some issues where the developer of Gramercy Plantation has violated the county's stated requirements of the development order. There's also a mistake in your zoning map that needs to be resolved. When the county approved the Gramercy Plantation development in 2000, you required that the developer have a water treatment plant for the commercial area. And that was until East Point sewer was available. Extensive plans were developed, and that included a water treatment plant and some large spray fields. Your exact development order said the spray field area will be retained as such until sewer is available. Once sewer is available, the area reserved for spray field will be placed in conservation to serve as open space recreation land for the development. A couple of years ago, they sold 16 acres of the spray field, designated spray field, to a sand and gravel company who's currently pit mining sand out of the area. It's already on Google Map. You can see where they're mining, and it's gone a lot further than that. Mr. Pierce has taken pictures of it. Unfortunately, the zoning on the county paper map, not the property appraiser's map, but the county paper map, was never correctly amended to show the Gramercy Plantation area. So that property was incorrectly shown when they bought the property as C1. I've talked to Mr. Pierce about this numerous times, and my understanding is that it should have been shown as R1 because the development was approved, and therefore there should not be any mining, sand and gravel mining in R1. I'd like you please to correct the zoning so they'll stop mining in our subdivision, and so the developer will not sell any more of the development in opposed to what you've got in your development requirements in your development order. I don't know what you can do exactly to enforce the development order. So I don't know if I'll take questions if you've got something to ask me about that. Like I said, I came to you a year ago. I'm not seeing any action from the county.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
The board had directed me to look into this matter, and I know I've met several times with representatives of both the Homeowners Association, Mr. Ruffner himself, and also, I believe it was representatives of the developer. It was my understanding, I thought that they had resolved this internally, so I've dropped it off my radar. I'd say that obviously is not the case.
No, the developers pretty much just thumbing their nose at both of us. And they're, you're talking about taxes a lot. They were supposed to develop 110 lots. They only platted 70. So they hadn't been paying taxes on 40 lots for 15 years. And you directed them, they were originally planning, if you remember, go way back to 2000, they were going to put a golf course in, and then they said they're going to drop that, and they'll only plat 110. Well, we haven't gotten homeowners dues, and you hadn't gotten taxes. They're paying like a $500,000 taxes on $500,000 worth of property that should be 40 lots plus commercial property plus some of this other stuff. So you're missing out on tax revenues.
Commissioner, I will just need to pull my file up and
Check back into it.
recommunicate with the parties involved and find out where we were. This is the first I've heard of this in probably 7 or 8 months. So, like I said, I was under the impression that they had resolved this internally. Clearly, that is not the case.
We had some other stuff that was, some stuff that they had not done, but they
I'll
had.
reactivate the file.
They're pretty much telling us they had the right to sell this and the guy can mine the gravel. But you need, the zoning issue is one, and I think Mr. Pierce has made some kind of some presentation to you about that, but that needs to be fixed. Because if it was fixed, and it is R1, then what are they doing mining sand, pit mine for sand on that property? If you want a picture. This is an old Google Earth. Oh, it's a lot more extensive than that. We can keep it or give it to Michael.
We'll get Michael to look back into it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the zoning?
Yes, sir.
All the issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ted. Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning, Commissioners. I'm Bert Bolt, and I'm a resident of Alligator Point. Just a matter of information. The National Fish and Wildlife Foundation has developed a Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund, and I think part of this is for the organized deployment of some of the BP funds. And some of this money is potentially available for projects, worthy projects. And one of them is potentially an abstract that they are soliciting abstracts for different environmental improvement projects. And we're thinking that the restoration of the beaches at Alligator Point may be a very worthy project. And again, this is monies that are available, and I believe there's matching funds as well. There's one fundamental issue that I've been advised is important, and that is that there needs to be a unanimous approval from the residents of Alligator Point that they want beach renourishment. As you know, that permit for beach renourishment has, I think, just been renewed for another 10 years going forward. And that was met very favorably by the folks at Alligator Point Taxpayers Association. And there is a list of priorities that the Taxpayers Association wants, and one of them is property preservation, which the renourishment of Alligator Point comes into. So I'm here today just to let you know that this benefit fund is available potentially for an abstract. Maybe there's a future project there for the renourishment of Alligator Point. And I certainly support Commissioner Sanders that we get this thing done in a financially neutral way to the county as much as we possibly can. So I just wanted to let you know that, and I'll push for it to go forward, and appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. Any more? You fast on the draw, son?
Yes, sir. Alan Pfeiffer, Concerned Citizens, Franklin County. Similarly, a quick question and answer so we could all get out of here. Hospital board meeting is this Thursday, and does that have to be noticed in the paper that there's a change in the meeting? Because I looked for it the last 2 weeks and did not see it.
Should it, Michael?
I'm not sure how they've been advertising their meetings, Alan. I'm not really consulted on that. I mean, they should have a regular meeting date, and if they've changed it, I mean, common sense would indicate that they would advertise to either a special meeting or that they have now changed the meeting dates. I can talk to Mr. Cooper and find out.
That would be great. Traditionally, what we've done is they advertise that the meetings will be, once a year, they put an ad in the paper saying the meetings are held last Thursday of the month. And that has sufficed in the past for notice, but there's been a couple of times when the meeting has been changed and the public didn't know, and, if you don't have a legal meeting, how do you make decisions? I don't want to have this rolled back if they have an illegal meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
One last thing.
Yes, sir.
Just to clarify something that had nothing to do with Alan. All right, so the road paving program is slowly moving forward. It's possible there will be slightly more money available. It's possible because when Erin Griffin gave me the budget for you all to consider road paving, she had deducted the amount of money she thought was the engineering services. Well, when I gave you the number, I deducted that same amount again. So the engineer didn't get paid twice, but on the budgetary process, we withheld money from what we thought would be the actual asphalt. So we're looking now to see, because everybody's had little additions and stuff, we're looking now to see, for Aaron and Clay to get together to see what the true number is, but it's possible that you all will have slightly a little more money to do some minor, $20,000 or $30,000 per district, because what you might have a little more.
One thing before the Clay, when are they gonna do our lines on Ryan's Drive? Check and see, cause they told me they was coming back and they hadn't. All right, go ahead.
Oh,
1:30, huh?
Oh, well.
You back up?
no, I'm trying to be